The movie you're making me watch today was Sister Act 2 Back in the Habit.
It was actually Sisters.
That's right, Sisters, 1972, Brian De Palma. What are your words, Jacob? Wait, no, Schwartz. You made us watch this one.
Twisted.
Mysterious.
Jake says mysterious. I say it was, I think Twisted. I was gonna say Twisted, but I'm pretty sure we've said that a few times for other movies. I'm pretty sure that was your word for Ready or Not.
Maybe. That was my backup word for this movie, in case someone used it mine already. So
One of my words was fuck, because there was a couple parts that I was like fuck. But my word is dubious.
Dubious. That's a good word.
This movie was dubious. 1972, Sisters. Brian De Palma on HBOMAX. Watch it.
Yeah, this movie was like the beginning of Brian De Palma. It was his first movie that he made where it was kind of like his style that he went on to do, which was basically taking a lot from Hitchcock and just making it more fucked up than Hitchcock really ever did, which is what I think is dope. He took a lot of the things from Rope, a lot of things from Rear Window, and kind of just used them in his own way, in the way that like Tarantino kind of does it. Just takes things and makes them his own.
They were contemporaries, though, right? Hitchcock and him? They're around the same time.
No, he was a little bit after Hitchcock. Like Hitchcock had made like at least like 20, 30 movies before him.
Yeah, Hitchcock was like his best shit was in like the 50s, maybe going into the 60s.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he was probably still making a few movies by then, but he was definitely on the tail end of his career.
Yeah,
it was definitely not right in the heyday of his stuff. But I thought the use of split screen is absolutely fucking amazing movie. It's like the one of the best. It's a whole scene of when she kills in the first murder of the so-called twin that you find out's not the twin. When she kills the dude with the cake, the black dude who comes in, like that whole scene of her trying to clean that up and the cops trying to come upstairs at the same time and the reporter trying to tell them what's going on, but all those little things just keep happening to where it just doesn't work out for her. That was just so good. That was done so well.
Yeah, the guy up there fucking just tripping over himself and just trying to clean all it up, being an idiot.
Yeah, that split screen was cool. Like it was an interesting device almost, because for a while, that Margot Kidder, the whoever plays the twin or the twins, she was like the main character. It seemed that way at first, and it almost kind of handed it off with those split screens to that. I think her character's name was Grace. I can't remember the actress's name, but who played the reporter. Thought that was a cool way to do it.
Yeah, which is another very Hitchcock thing.
Yes,
another Hitchcock thing, of killing off someone in the first part of the movie that you think is going to be one of the main characters. That was another thing you took from that.
Yeah, it was super Hitchcockian. I watched a couple interviews with him, and he said if you were to compare him with Hitchcock, he would wholeheartly disagree with you.
Oh wow!
I thought that was interesting. He said he brought up a couple scenes that were compared. I gotta look it up now, but like the shower. What movie does he have a bath scene in?
The Psycho is the shower scene.
Psycho is the shower scene, but I'm talking. De Palma has a bath. Anyway, he was saying, "Oh, people are they always say that this is just like this scene." And he was like, "No, I mean, I shot it completely different. The feel is completely different. Just because they're similar in any way doesn't mean you should compare me to him."
Yeah, I don't know about his overall filmography, but this one had that vibe certainly to a Hitchcock film, in my opinion. Because it, like you said, like it kind of felt like Psycho killing.
My one word was gonna be Hitchcockian.
It's a pretty good word. And then it felt like Rear Window with her looking out and like her, especially that scene where her like friend, like the dude that poses the window washer, she was like kind of guiding him through the apartment a little bit, or like telling him where to go. That reminded me of the last scene or toward the end of Rear Window where he's just watching his like girl almost get killed, and it's like he can't really, like they're hopeless on the other side of the courtyard. So definitely had the Rear Window vibes. I appreciate it.
Definitely.
Yeah, and this movie also has the like the real sensual psychosexual shit going on too. Like everything's a lot to do with the sexuality of the characters and how that drives them what they're doing too, which is always something he's done. I mean, he made this, and then he made like whatchamacallit, two other movies back to back that are just Dress to Kill and I think Blowout, which were all just really great uses of camera work and the mysterious characters, not knowing who you're going to follow or what's going on, but it all gets explained in the end. It's really good filmmaking.
Carrie just a few years later as well.
Yeah, Carrie too. And that's another good use of split screen. I mean, he really did a lot of that in there too.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Tarantino always says that the person that he always models he always think that he was most like were De Palma and Sergio Leone. He kind of takes a lot from both of them. And I feel like the violence of De Palma and the characters being so sure of themselves I feel like is a lot to do with Tarantino too, you know? His characters always are pretty damn sure of themselves.
This actually reminded me of another film we watched. I think it was our first episode, Deep Red. There were some elements to that, like some of the blood and the gore, and I think it was when the
just because it's
the
old
dude,
as fuck.
Well, it was the shot, couple of the shots of when like the dude was getting like stabbed, and you kind of like saw like the shadow of the knife go in. So it was like or the silhouette or whatever. And that kind of reminded me of like the opening shot of Deep Red.
Well, it is a slasher film. They're both slasher films.
Yeah.
They're just different ones.
Yeah, certainly. I thought the split screen was definitely cooler in this movie than it was in Carrie.
It was
Carrie. It was
the way he used it in this movie was. I feel like he used it to
tell the story. He used it to
move.
Yeah, he used it to. He had exposition going on while you had action going on at the same time, which was dope.
Yeah, I mean, just think the whole scene like I was talking about before of them coming up the stairs and her trying to hide everything, like that wouldn't have been even close to as cool if it wasn't split screen. It would have worked, but
that's
the split screen just makes it really well.
That's the only split screen in the movie.
I remember that being the one that stood out the most.
And it's like a 8-minute split screen shot. It's
Mm-hmm.
great. It's great. And you don't expect it to be so long and see so much because that's the cool thing is you see so much going on and you're able to kind of digest everything going on.
Yeah.
It's cool. It was cool. And it was silly. It was silly, like watching him clean up all that blood. Like had how he could have had all that shit cleaned up by the time they got up there. I thought that was silly.
Yeah, they're very genre-driven movies. You know, it's like they're gonna have the blood, they're gonna have the gore, they're gonna have the tits, they're gonna have the laughs, but it doesn't necessarily have to all be super like make a lot of make it make sense. You know what I mean? Not that it doesn't have to make sense. Just you definitely got to give a little because it's like a movie. You know what I mean? It's a genre movie.
It's an old movie. I feel like genre and just like how many like what kind of movies do they make like that today? But they make genre
there's
movies
not
today
many.
Because people don't watch that shit.
I mean, Tarantino makes genre movies. You know, he makes westerns or whatever. But I mean, that's another level. So you can't really.
That's way different level. These are like it's like if Hitchcock was alive making his movies today, no one would give a fuck about him.
Yeah, I mean, I can't know about that, but maybe
no way, no one would give a fuck. It's like if the Beatles were alive today, playing today. I mean, that might be a little different because music is shitty today, but the level that movies have stepped up, whether you like it or not, in action and graphics and story and convolutedness of story and tricking the audience, like watching Rope, even though those were the earliest beginnings and you wouldn't have the movies today without those movies, I wouldn't give a shit about those movies if they were coming out today. I'd be like, well, this is a little fucking dated.
Yeah, but I mean, if they were coming today, they would be changed for today too, you know? I mean, I watched Rope not too long ago. That movie's still really good, man. There's some stuff that's a little on the nose, and some of the acting is a little like, but still pretty dope. Just the whole idea of two people killing one for the hell of it, and then inviting people over to have dinner over his dead body. That's still a pretty dope idea.
That movie was all like real time, one shot or something, right? If I remember correctly.
I don't think it was real time, but it was supposed to be. One shot.
I think it's made to look like it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was made to look like it. Yeah,
the
movie
saw it years ago.
Doesn't leave the room. It takes place at one room.
It'll pan down and come up like I think at a different I think it'll show passage of time, but it'll still be similar shot,
But that
or
same-
it's still supposed to look like Birdman.
Birdman, yeah, it's that same gimmick. That's cool. I know I saw it years ago. I just don't really remember it super well. But it'd be cool.
I think the biggest difference between rope and like Birdman too is that like Birdman's a lot of handheld and a lot of shit like that. The rope is basically they're on sticks on wheels and they go left, right, up or in or out. They don't really do anything.
Yeah.
In out.
A lot of wides.
Handheld is not an option when
Yeah,
the camera's
yeah, exactly.
as big as your AC.
Oh yeah, now that I think about it, it felt like a play.
Exactly.
Because it was like it was a lot of big wides, and it was just kind of this ongoing thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Or about rope.
No. More
what about
about
you, Jake?
Sister
Did
Act
you like this movie? Did you like this movie or what?
I did. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I went in completely blind. Like I honestly had no idea what this movie was about.
That's dope.
Other than that, it was a De Palma movie. So from like I was kind of into it from like the first shots, because it was that like weird embryo they showed, and then it was like suddenly like, oh, it's a twin embryo. That's interesting. And then hopped into that like weird ass like Peeping Tom.
I
TV
didn't
show.
notice that was a twin embryo. I'm not sure I noticed that in the beginning.
Yeah, I think it was the last like, because you know how they like kind of like they would change on it. They would like switch angles on it a few times.
Yeah.
I think the last shot, it was like the other one behind it. You can kind of just see the two heads. And I don't know why I caught that, but I caught that. And then I didn't know it was a twin movie up until I saw the weird scar on her leg. And then I thought about the embryo. So somehow I made that connection.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
the movie's called Sisters, so I assumed she had a sister. But honestly, when she showed the scar, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was like, oh, she got a weird scar, gross. I didn't think that she had a Siamese twin. I like that. I like that whole. I loved it. Just to vote my input.
Yeah.
Continue, Jake.
For sure. Yeah, like I totally agree. Like I guess the sisters thing definitely helped the suggestion in my head of like, okay, there's a connection there, and I guess it was more deep than it was. But yeah, it was weird from the get-go, and it was just I liked the kind of constant like motion of like from her taking the dude home, from him getting murdered, to jumping over to the reporter character, following her story for a while, her investigative like journey the whole time, like bringing her all the way toward the end to that like really that what was it, like basically like an asylum, which was like I thought a great scene because I didn't know where they were.
Yeah, that was weird because it seemed like just someone's house at first.
It did, and like what kind of I was confused by it, like the dude was like doing their lawn, like clipping the bushes, but he wasn't really clipping the bushes.
Yeah, I guess
so I'm like,
not.
what's going on here? And he's like, oh yeah, go ahead, go inside. And then there was the weird lady by the phone, and then the dude that worked there, and then obviously that like evil doctor guy or whatever he was, that creepy looking dude.
The main dude with the with the bruise on his head.
Yeah, with the bruise on his head, who was the sister's ex-husband or whatever.
Yeah.
That whole thing, like
/
tricking
her.
Yeah. Which, by the way, going back all the way to the Peeping Tom show in the very beginning, when they pan the audience, I noticed him sitting there, and I'm like,
definitely
something's up with that fucking guy. Like nothing in particular was standing out about him other than he just looked like a weird dude.
He looks like the bad guy from Raiders.
Right. You're absolutely right. He does. But I really liked the journey, especially of that the character that was the newspaper reporter, which I liked that choice too, of using her opposed to like oftentimes we'll see like a cop investigating or a detective or something, but I liked the reporter, and it was kind of funny because they almost the journalist, they almost just like wrote off the police because they were just like these racist assholes in the beginning. So they're like, all right, these guys are useless. They're like refusing to investigate a murder because they're like, oh, they stab each other all the time. Like I was like, damn. So I kind of actually appreciated De Palma's little quick use of systemic racism. It's kind of
extremely
relative to what's going on in the world right now. So I thought that was an interesting choice, and I appreciated seeing that like just cops aren't always like the good guys in movies. Like these cops are assholes. So that's sometimes how it goes, unfortunately.
That was the most ridiculous. Like that was one of the most frustrating things, was that scene where
Totally.
The split screen scene where she's like, this is what, like, he's dying up there. Can you not just go up there and check it real quick and then we can talk? That was
Right. So
it was
I think
frustrating, and the
yeah.
split. It was just that was such good. It was just so good. It was so
that made that
so
scene really good.
perfectly executed.
Yeah, it's really well done. And I love the ending scene where the dude she hires is still looking after trying to find that fucking couch, and it's shot through the binoculars.
Oh yeah.
He's still searching for
so
it. Like that shit's dope.
That's how it ended. Like that. What? So how did it end? Let's talk about the ending, because what the fuck happened? Who is she? Was she the twin?
She was one of the twins, but the other one, I guess, who quote unquote was the psycho and went crazy, she ended up killing her, I think, and just she exists in her mind now, and so she was both of them.
Right. And the journalist was was not the twin.
No, the journalist was not.
She was having like a weird dream, like a hypnotist.
Yeah. I was that's what I'm referring to, because at the end we see like she's like connected to her. They're laying there, and that's I was thinking. So that's what I was thinking. Is this how the move? Is this the twist? Is the journalist ended up being the other girl, or ended up being crazy, or what happened?
I think she ended up going crazy because I think she was hypnotized into being kind of crazy, because then she was also going with the whole story of like there was no murder. But I was confused too for a minute. Showed her mom and stuff in the early on. I'm like, wait, if she had a mom, why would she be the twin? It didn't make sense. But like, so I figured out like, oh, she's just dreaming or in a weird hypnotized state, because they also showed her like whoever the detective friend or whatever, the dude that was posing as the dude that was posing as the window guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Like him, like he was handed over the meat cleaver in the dream. So I'm like, so he's part of it. So I was a little lost on that too for a second, but then I kind of had to figure it out in my head. So, like, okay, this was just a dream. That like weird black and white sequence was her dreaming, but the twin did die. So she had a twin that did die.
Dominique died
in the surgery, and so she took on her psyche.
Okay.
Whenever, so I don't know. It seemed like
it's just that simple.
It's actually situations or something.
A little more simple than I wanted it.
It actually says that she takes over when she has sex or gets worked up. That's when it.
That makes sense.
That's what because it turns out that the doctor dude, he wasn't a bad guy. He just was trying to reel in. He was in love with her, and every time they tried to fuck, the bad girl would come out and try to kill him.
Yeah, that makes sense why the dude that she killed, like his back was all scratched up. So like obviously they had some like wild sex. So like she was the violent side of her came out, the crazy side of her came out. I kind of did see that.
Dude, I didn't put any of this shit together.
Like the fact that she was both, I kind of saw that coming. That was the only like thing.
Yes, I saw coming immediately when she went when her sister was calling her from the other room. I was like, this bitch is there's only one girl. That for sure. Yeah. But that's all I thought. From that point on, I was like, wait. I was literally like, why does she have a scar?
Right. But yeah, they almost got me to start thinking the journalist was the other twin for a minute. I think they were intending
that's
to
what I thought.
Get us on that mindset. And I was like,
they worked. It worked.
But yeah, I don't think that was the actual case.
No. What's cool is that this movie came from an article De Palma read about two Russian Siamese sisters. And one of them looked super happy, and the other one just said he looked like they were just kind of existing in a state of like hell. And he was like, well, that's an idea for a movie right there.
That's great. It's like cool. Nightmare Circus or whatever that stupid movie you made us watch.
Carnival of Souls.
Nightmare Circus. Classic. Yeah, Carnival of Souls. That's how he came up with the movie. He was like, drove by, saw this empty carnival, and was like, I can make a movie out of it. Criterion Collection number 89, spine number 89, for those of you wondering.
Yeah, like I said, this is the first movie where De Palma became De Palma. This was where he showed all the stylistic shit and the camera movement and the crazy characters and the ultra violence. Like he was part of the Spielberg, Lucas, Scorsese crew, and he was definitely the most violent and over the top one, which is dope.
I don't know. You ever see Jaws?
Jaws is awesome.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
What's Jaws about?
He dated Margot Kidder, wrote this story for her.
Ah, she was good.
She was great.
Yeah, she was.
I feel like I only seen her as Lois Lane before, but she killed it.
She was great.
That's who she was. I knew. I was like, who is this chick?
And I make the connection until like I actually fucking looked at her IMDb because I'm like, well, how do I know? Because that accent doesn't make you think Lois Lane, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Her her French Canadian accent. So, which
Is
I'm
she
not even
actually
sure.
French Canadian? I think
I actually just had that thought. I'm not sure if Margot Kidder is French Canadian or
I'm gonna say
regular
yes,
American
or a regular human American.
A regular human American with a regular voice without an accent because human Americans don't have accents.
I also saw that somewhere that initially for the shot of them, so that when they roll the dude up in the couch, and then the detectives come up and they're looking around. There was supposed to be a 6-minute uncut tracking shot, going back and following them throughout the apartment and and then coming back to the couch, always coming back to the couch and seeing the red blood spot get bigger and bigger. And he said they shot it and it was amazing. It was beautiful. But the red spot was just so high up on the couch that it just didn't make sense.
Yeah, they would have seen it.
He cut out what he said was like an amazing 6-minute tracking shot just because it didn't make sense, which makes sense, but
yeah,
it's got to be disappointing.
What
I would have loved to see it.
Absolutely.
He went on to do some pretty great tracking shots in his career. A lot of other movies, and one that comes to mind just in general is not very good movie, but is Snake Eyes, when the camera is just roaming around the ring in Atlantic City with the boxer.
What are you talking about? Snake Eyes is great.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie. It's a fun movie, but is it great? I don't know. Is it fun? Yeah. It's classic De Palma, but
De Palma has a wild filmography.
He does.
He's kind of all over the place. There's some bad, there's some great, there's everything in between.
Yeah. For sure. He's definitely done shit his way too, you know what I mean? He's never made something or anything that he really wasn't his style, you know? He's never
Yeah.
I need to watch more of his stuff, I think, especially some of his older stuff.
I mean, the movies that stand out in his list are classics.
Yeah.
I mean, like obviously Scarface, Untouchables,
Carlito's Way,
big too. Carlito's Way, Mission Impossible, even that's not.
I mean,
that old.
The first
old
Mission
now,
Impossible.
Yeah,
that's a great movie.
I say Blowout, Dress to Kill, Carrie. Those are all movies. Even this movie is pretty great in his filmography.
I've never seen Blowout.
I still need to watch Blowout as well.
Dude, Blowout's amazing. Blowout's about a sound guy who's out there recording ambient or Foley sounds, and he records a murder, and he's got to use.
I have seen Blowout. I have seen Blowout. I thought this was like. Never mind. I'm not even gonna tell you what I thought it was about. John Travolta.
Because it's sort of about like I can't remember. Is it about sort of like the Ted Kennedy situation where he like drove the car off the bridge and the girl died?
And the girl gets out of the car though in this one. I'm pretty sure the girl gets out. I can't remember. He records the murder and he uses it and he finds the murderer and he ends up becoming obsessed with it and just like ruins his life.
A movie's sound recordist accidentally records the evidence that proves that a car accident was actually a murder and consequently finds himself in danger.
Yeah. Here's another movie he made called Raising Cain, which is pretty great with John Lithgow, where he's another guy with split personalities.
I just watched that not too long ago. I was going to bring that up.
Such a great,
pretty wild movie.
Which one? What's it called?
Raising Cain.
It's pretty great.
I don't know about great, but
John
Lithgow was certainly a pretty wild performance. I wouldn't call the movie great, but
this is the thing.
Would you call John Lithgow a great actor?
Overall,
yeah, he's pretty good in a lot of things.
I'd say. I mean, the thing is, a great actor.
In Brian De Palma's filmography, Raising Cain is definitely one of his polarizing ones. It's pretty in your face and it's genre as fuck, but it's good. It's an entertaining movie.
Bizarre, for sure.
Yes, very bizarre.
One word about Raising Cain.
bizarre.
Yeah, he's
The
made some pretty
music.
interesting
Oh,
shit,
we didn't
man.
even talk about the music.
Yeah,
Talk
Bernard,
about Hitchcock. I mean, that's why. That's why it
Oh,
sounded
yeah.
like so. That's why it seemed like such a Hitchcock movie, is because of the fucking music.
Bernard Herrmann.
Truly.
I guess that's all we need to say about the music.
What's
Herrmann,
crazy
motherfucker.
is that he said that he was listening to the soundtracks of all those movies while they were editing, and then he was just like, "Well, why don't we call this dude up and see if he wants to do the movie?" He ended up doing the movie, which is fucking awesome.
That's awesome.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
it's the same. Does the same dude do Hitchcock's movie?
Yeah, Bernard Herrmann was
okay.
the guy who did it. Yeah,
That makes sense. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Oh wow, Bernard Herrmann
It's-
did Citizen Kane and Taxi Driver. What a filmography.
yeah, he's done a lot.
It's icon. He's got iconic sounds too. I mean, it's like listening to John Williams. When you hear a Bernard Herrmann score, it's like, yeah, that's
Right, true.
that's the dude.
It's like a John Williams score. You're like, this must be John Williams.
Yeah. Oh, fun fact. Did you know John Williams wrote the Olympic song?
What's the Olympic song?
Not, but I believe you.
It's true. I looked it up the other day. I was like, that's a dope song, because I just stupid like that. And yeah. Anyway, back to this. He was great. Yeah. Another fun story I heard about him regarding him and writing the music was that they put temp tracks over it of Psycho, of a bunch of other Hitchcock movies, so, just to kind of get the feel of it. And they showed him that cut with those temp tracks, and immediately he screamed, "Stop it! I don't want to cut out all the music. I can't listen to my other movies in this movie in this music or in this movie. It's too, cut it out. I just want to watch it without the music." And that's how I did it. Those are the first things that he said to
That's
him.
funny.
They said that was a tense day.
There's a documentary that came out in like 2016, 2017 called De Palma, made by Noah Baumbach. You should check it out, Anthony. There's a lot of really great stories in there. That's one of them, and it just shows how he came up and how his style was just so unique compared to the other people he was doing shit with, like Spielberg and all them. You should watch it. It's great. It's on Netflix.
Yeah,
It's really, really
that.
good.
It's kind of cool, like history of his filmography.
Yeah.
Like how they like did a stop like on every little beat of his career along the way.
Yeah.
Really in depth. It was good.
I think honestly
I'm probably not gonna watch it.
The only Brian De Palma movie I really didn't like, but
let me guess, Bruce Springsteen's video anthology.
Like is the Black Dahlia. No, the Black Dahlia. That movie was just so goddamn boring. Like it should have been so great. It was just so boring. Really, it was just not good. Good cast too. Josh Hartnett, Scarlett Johansson. Dude played Two-Face in Nolan's Batman's. He was in it. He was good in it, but the movie's just not good.
Okay.
Yeah, but you won't watch it.
I haven't seen a lot of his stuff actually. Now I'm looking at it.
Neither have I. I think I've seen Scarface once. Seen Carrie a few times.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen like the classics and then also Raising Cain.
What about
Mission
Untouchables? You guys seen Untouchables?
Oh,
of course.
yeah.
Untouchables. Let's watch Untouchables in like film school.
Yeah. Obsession, Dress to Kill, Blowout. Those are his pretty like the crazy ones before he kind of started making bigger things.
I've heard Dress to Kill is pretty dope.
Dress to Kill is fucking. You think this movie was crazy? Dress to Kill is like ramped up even crazier.
Oh, nice. Right on.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy that they were all friends, him and Spielberg, and like
yeah.
Was it Scorsese too?
Yeah, George Lucas, Martin Scorsese, Francis Ford Coppola, all those guys.
Fucking.
Oh, Anthony, if you want to know more about it, it's in the doc. They talk about it. You should
I don't.
Check it out.
I'm not gonna watch that. I don't watch.
They spend a lot of time with De Palma in like interviews and like almost you kind of get to know him and like okay, that's why his fucking movies are strange because he's kind of a weird dude.
Yeah, he's a weird dude.
Guy,
yeah.
So, but it's it shows.
Yeah. Now that I know there's a documentary about it, I'm less interested.
Dude hates documentaries.
One of my favorite parts is when he's talking about how. One of my favorite parts when he's talking about how like when him and Spielberg would drive around, they had one of the first like phones that were in cars, and like they would call up girls, and they'd be like, "Hey, man," be like, "Oh, we can't, we're busy or whatever, we don't have a car." And they'd be like, "Oh, well, come outside, we're in the car right now," and they would just drive around Hollywood. I thought that was pretty awesome. They were young, they were like late 20s and shit, just driving around, fucking.
It's probably how I met Margot Kidder. Just called her up. Come outside, baby.
Come outside.
What up, girl?
Yeah.
That would be considered rape in 2020.
Maybe. Any other favorite parts?
When they were looking at the video of like when the doctor took the journalist in, or the other journalist took the other journalist in, and they were watching the video of the Siamese twins, and the guy's name was Dr. Milius. I thought that was a nice homage to Milius. He looked like him too.
About that.
That was actually, he was part of that crew too.
I was just going to ask that. He must have been one of those guys.
He was.
What a fucking crew, dude. Imagine that's us.
That was, you know what's crazy about that crew is that's the first time that studio systems started using college people for film. That's why they got in there, because college for film was a new thing. And after the studio system crashed of like the La La Land days of, not La La Land, like the old days of movies and shit, they started using kids that came from film school, which was the first generation was Lucas, Scorsese, and these guys. This is why they all got pretty big back then at the same time. There's docs on that too. A lot of them. It's pretty dope.
Name one. I won't watch it.
The Spielberg doc on HBO. It's all about that.
Sweet. I'll put that on my do not watch list.
Maybe that's the one they talk about their friendship, or maybe
they talk about it's both of them. It's both of them. Yeah.
Which one do they talk about how Spielberg directed the final scene in Scarface?
I think that's in both of them actually too.
That's a pretty fun fact.
Yeah, right, he just says his favorite part was that Spielberg's like, yeah, put another camera here, and he's like, all day we're just shooting shit blow up.
It's a great scene. It's probably the best scene of that movie.
In the movie, yeah.
Which is kind of funny.
There's a lot of good scenes in that movie. Like, talking about camera movement in Scarface, the scene where he's in the bathroom about to get killed in the beginning, and the camera goes down from the bathroom window to his buddy in the car, and then the buddy looks up, and the camera goes back up through the window into the room. It's De Palma's like Spielberg. They just got their camera movement down pretty goddamn well.
True.
As far as blocking goes, I don't think anybody blocks the scene better than Steven Spielberg. His camera movement is fucking ridiculous.
True.
Absolutely ridiculous. How good it is.
Fun fact, this episode reminded me of a Baywatch episode.
What does that mean?
You know the show Baywatch from the 90s?
Yeah, but this episode of this podcast reminds you of a show about people surfing and saving people's lives on the beach?
This movie.
This storyline. It was an episode. I wrote it down. Season 4, episode 16 of Baywatch, episode called Mirror Mirror, where Mitch starts dating.
What the
Mitch
fuck?
Or
time out.
Oh.
When is the last time you watched Baywatch?
I think there was a time last year where work was slow,
serious?
and so I binged like the entire 9 seasons. Dude, I watched like 200 episodes of
Baywatch
in like 2 months. Yeah, it was a good time. It's a fun show.
Okay.
Yeah, but there was an episode where there's like this girl who is crazy,
wow.
And she has a like split personality where she plays twins, where like Mitch or Hasselhoff.
Bro, I don't know any names in Baywatch.
Well, you know David Hasselhoff.
I know,
right?
yeah, I know who David Hasselhoff is.
Well, his character meets a set of twins, but separately, and I think he thinks he can date them both somehow separately, because that's how 90s sitcoms
but it
go.
Ends up being the same girl.
Ends up being the same girl, and she ends up being crazy and tries to kill him. Tries to drown Hasselhoff. Can't drown a lifeguard though. He gets out. Hasselhoff wins. He continues for like, whatever, 8 more seasons.
Does he say that line? Does he say that line when she doesn't kill him?
Can't drown a lifeguard. Can't drown a lifeguard.
He could have. I don't
remember. He
definitely
thought of it. He definitely thght it in his head. You don't remember that specifically, but you remember what season and show the
I looked it up.
Reference.
I looked it up.
Yeah, it reminds me of that episode where Mitch was dating the 2 girls.
Because basically, just the idea of that, it was like one person who said she was twins, but it wasn't. It was just one chick.
God. I've never
I'm
heard
like,
anyone
that
reference Baywatch ever.
Me neither.
Well,
I don't know
that's
anyone
why
who
I did
even
it.
watches it.
That's
Just
great.
trying
I'm
to
not
keep it
saying
real.
it's a bad thing. I'm
trying
just
to keep
saying
it fresh here.
that's the first time I've met anyone personally in the 32 years that I've been on this planet that's ever referenced the television show Baywatch on like in such a casual manner.
Yep. It's an interesting show. I realized like watching it like 20 years after it was made, 20, 30 years after it was made, because it's like it's like a almost like a kid show because it's a TV show, but there's like all these wild sexual undertones, but like they don't swear. So it's just like it's such a weird vibe to it.
What channel was it on when it was on?
It was actually in syndication. So
Of course it was. There's 200 episodes.
Right, yeah, there's 200 something episodes.
But what channel was Baywatch originally on? Do you know?
I think no.
Was it USA?
No, it was. It played on USA, but there was a thing in the 90s where they just put shit in syndication before it was even on like a network. It was just they would like sell it to whatever channels, whatever part of the country you were in. So that's just how
NBC. It was on
TV
NBC.
TV was kind of different back
so
then.
I mean, back then there was only fucking 5 channels anyway. There was hardly cable. When Baywatch was on.
It was only on NBC for its first season, and then NBC was going to cancel it, and then Hasselhoff and his crew of producers are like, "No, let's sell it to syndication," and that's something people could do.
42 episodes.
Yeah, something you could do early on in a series.
So Hasselhoff's is fucking Baywatch money all the way. He doesn't have to do anything else.
Oh, I'm sure he is loaded with
I
Baywatch
can't
money.
stop this feeling. Doesn't he sing that song?
He sings?
David Hasselhoff? Of course he does.
I only follow Baywatch career. I don't follow. But yeah, he sings. He's a musician.
You know what he was really good in?
A Hoff?
Sisters. He was the twin in Sisters.
Was he?
Yeah, he was the
All
twin.
right.
Yeah,
I guess
untitled, uncredited.
Do you guys want to rank like your top 10 Baywatch episodes real quick, or
No, I don't know any of the Baywatch episodes.
Yeah, dude, episode 1.
I don't mind. I would watch Baywatch again. Just check it out.
Episode 1 is actually great.
Make me watch some Baywatch.
In like the late 80s or like in the early on when they did pilots, they actually made like movies. So episode 1 of Baywatch is like a 1989 like beach thriller. It's great.
For sure, it's like
it's all on Prime.
On YouTube.
It's all on Prime. Every episode of Baywatch is on Prime.
Nice.
Good for you. Good for you, man.
Yeah, it was a big waste of my time like a year or two ago. But
if for the next 3 months you could just pull out Baywatch references on the daily, I would be stoked.
Challenge accepted.
I don't think I'll get them, but I hope I do.
Who cares?
I'll just do like wrestling references and Baywatch references, and people are like,
"Oh my
this
god,
fucking dude with his references! What a weird guy."
What? Nobody knows. Nobody knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, like shout out to Drew Liner. Yeah, no one knows what we're talking about, but
Drew Liner?
Shout out to the Big Cat, dog.
The Big Cat.
Who's the Big Cat?
Drew Liner. Big Cat's Corner.
Oh, okay.
Where's he at? Call him up. Did he see this movie? Who knows?
Big Cat's Corner. Let's call.
Probably have not seen this movie.
Hey, have you seen this movie? No. All right, see you, dude.
Where do you guys rank this one? This one's pretty high on my list.
Where is it? Where is it, Mister? I already ranked it.
Putting it at number 2 behind Deep Red.
Number 2.
Put it at number 2.
You don't think this is better than Deep Red?
No, Deep Red was way more. It's just more fun. Deep Red's just fun.
You know, I actually thought you were going to do that for some reason today. I had that thought.
Big one for Schwartz.
Schwartz is going high with this one. I'm like, this is his vibe.
This is definitely my type of movie. Yeah.
Especially based off that I knew Deep Red was your number 1, so I'm like, this is going to be high.
I thought the same thing. I was like, this might upset Deep Red because I certainly thought it was better than Deep Red.
I definitely have it over Deep Red.
So I mean, that's most people in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys could be wrong.
Your number, your opinion's wrong, but that's fine.
That's fine.
So you're number 2 with
yeah, I'm number 2.
Deep Red, and then this.
Schwartz is number 2.
What does that bump Handmaiden down to 3? Is Handmaiden 3 across the board?
Handmaiden is 3 across the board. Well, no.
Cool.
Yes, it is.
Interesting.
Which makes it basically number 1 in overall.
Probably still overall. Yeah,
definitely.
We'll do that math later with my weird algorithm.
Yeah, do it like when we hit 40.
Yeah, there you go. Every double. I have Sisters actually. It's pretty like middle of my list. I feel like we watched a lot of good shit, but so middle's a pretty good spot. It's right under the Indiana Jones series for me.
How about you?
Which also puts it right above CB4, Schwartz's favorite film. Schwartz is number 4, I think.
Favorite movie.
I never seen it. Never seen it. Sorry, guys.
I never seen it.
I'm sure that episode you guys did about it was excellent.
I bet it was.
Because you just weren't there.
Exactly.
Talk the whole time.
We should consider that note.
You Schwartz put it at number 2. You put it at number 11, and I got it right in the middle of that at number 6.
6.
Yeah, this was a good one.
I think it was pretty good. I put it right above Let the Right One In. Bump that one down. It was actually I stewed on Legend, Let the Right One In, and Sisters. And yeah, I stewed on it for a while, and I settled on Legend above Sisters, Sisters above Let the Right One In, and the rest of our 22 movies below that.
Word.
I mean, not the rest of them, because that would make that number 1, number 2. But yeah, I mean,
the other
ones,
14 or
even though this is Criterion Collection Spy number 89, I put it at number 6.
Okay. Decent spots overall.
Definitely.
I think so. All of our favorite scenes is probably that split screen section.
That's mine for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty epic. From
and her the insane asylum.
Yeah. Like, yeah, for when she first walks up, that first psycho walk up to the house, and then she got startled by the guy with the shears. Also, did you notice that she said she killed Dominique with a pair of garden shears?
Oh yeah. I wasn't sure about that.
Did that have anything to do with?
No, I think Dominique tried to kill her when because she was pregnant or something.
With garden shears, though. She said.
Yeah. I think Dominique stabbed her while she was pregnant. That's why she lost the baby, and then that's essentially why they separated them. But then Dominique died in the process, I think.
Yeah, and then she kind of took over that persona because I guess that was her thing.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
But she did say garden shears, and then
something like that. That sounds right. The garden shears sound right.
I'm trying to make a connection between the guy with garden shears and her stabbing her with garden shears.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that.
But I don't think there is a connection.
They're just on the property. They're around. They're accessible. Garden shears are very accessible to patients, apparently.
Okay, there you go.
In hindsight, it seemed like the dude doing the gardening was
definitely
a patient
because he seemed a gardener,
and he wasn't doing it was just seemed like he was hovering above, and I thought that was just because it was an old movie at first, and I kind of lost that connection. But once we actually figure out where they are, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, he was definitely spooking, just spooking people with those shears.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, what that showed was that they were accessible to the patients.
Yep. Sounds right.
And anyone could just walk the fuck up to that place, obviously.
I really love the voyeuristic feel of his movies too, and this was like the pretty good thing for that. Just the whole her seeing the murder through the window with the hand going down the window and trying to convince people what she saw. Like that was super fun. That's probably I know that's the same part of the movie, but that's also a dope spot.
Dope spot. One of the producers, again, somewhere I read, said, you could never fit a body in a fold-up couch like that. And De Palma said, yes, I can. I've done it before, I believe.
Great answer.
I believe demonstrated it for him.
I definitely thought that. I'm like, wow, you can fit a body in there? That's a crazy place to think to put a body, but I'm like, hey, if it works, it works. Good for them.
It works. Then you just pick it up and get it out of there.
Move it out.
So what do you think happened? What happens to that couch?
That's what's awesome is that there's a whole nother movie about what happens to that couch we haven't fucking seen yet.
Yeah, I liked the ambiguity of the ending. Like, just we don't. It's like the story was about the sisters because that's the movie. The movie wasn't called Couch. Maybe that's what the couch movie should be called.
They should just make a movie called Couch 2, and it'll be about this.
Sisters 2 : Couch.
It'll be Sisters and Couch 2.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Let's write it.
Write it down. Take note. Is De Palma still alive?
Yeah.
I want to give him a call. Schwartz, mayor of show business. Give De Palma a call.
All right, I'm calling him right now.
Perfect.
Insert dial. Insert old rotary phone here.
Hello, Mr. De Palma.
De Palma. It's the
It's the mayor of Tinseltown.
King of Tinseltown. Got a movie idea for you. You know, what if I just said the word couch? I think he would get it. I think he'd be into it.
Yeah, he would.
Anything else to say about this fucking movie?
Watch it. Watch it again. Then watch it after that.
Any other words on this movie?
I think one watch is fair. I don't know if you need to follow Schwartz's advice and watch it 3 times, but it's worth seeing. It's worth seeing.
I mean, according to our list, we would watch it more than a lot of other movies.
True.
Cool. This has been Sisters 1973, Brian De Palma. Watch it or don't.
Either way, watch it.
Shout out to the big cat.
Shout out to the big cat indeed. At Bodacious Drew, DRU on Instagram. Thanks for listening to another episode of Making Me Watch Movies. Next week's movie, Cool Hand Luke. Have you seen it? When's the last time you've seen it? What do you think about it? You think it's great? You think it's hot trash? Cool Hand Luke. Watch it on HBOMAX, then listen to us right here, same place, same time, Making Me Watch Movies.